This is basically an advertisement as I work on my next big video, but if you haven't been watching, I've been playing Morrowind for the past few days, late at night, Pacific Standard Time, after work. And if you would like to join me for the next session, I'm going to be playing more Morrowind at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the day of the upload of this video, and most likely the day after. So if you want to come and join, I'll leave a link in the description, and I'll see you then. On with the video. This is my first real experience with Morrowind outside of trying to play the game about a decade or more ago at this point, for a total of maybe 25 minutes before dropping it entirely. When the Oblivion remaster dropped a little while ago, it was my first real introduction to that game as well. I had again, tried it a few times before, but the inherent jankiness of that game always was a huge deterrent to me actually enjoying it. But with the recent remaster and its quality of life improvements, I was finally able to really gel with Oblivion for the first time ever. And yeah, I get it now. It's fucking awesome! There is a sense of scale that, especially for its time, is mind-blowing. And the sense of exploration is legit peak Bethesda. Constantly discovering caves, dungeons, and doing random stupid side quests for people is infectious and famous for a reason. With its quest markers and streamlined systems, I would honestly classify Oblivion as a single-player MMO in the way that I've always wanted an MMO to play out. I want to melt into the world, space out for hours, and just do quests, discover things, and get stronger. And I want to do that on my own terms. And I will never say that Oblivion isn't good, because it is, and I'm happy that the remaster came out because now I can say confidently, I love Oblivion. It only took 19 years, but I love it. And now, with my newfound love for Oblivion, instead of going ahead into Skyrim, I decided to go further back in time to the game that many consider to be the real peak of not only the Elder Scrolls series, but Bethesda as a company, Morrowind. And before I really discuss what I feel about Morrowind, let me predicate this by explaining what I thought Morrowind was going to be. I thought that Morrowind was going to be a brutally difficult RPG with huge narrative consequences for decisions that I make, as well as the ones made through character building. I thought that Morrowind is going to be an incredibly obtuse and confusing game with no quest markers and only the vaguest of directions, leading to potentially hours of being lost and having no idea what to do or where to go. I thought that Morrowind would be brutally unforgiving, constantly punishing the player for low stats with dice rolls, and as well as the lack of level scaling, being beaten to death by a worm if I go off the beaten path. What I didn't expect is 1, all of that to be true, 2, all of that to not matter whatsoever, and 3, for it to feel exactly like we all know what a Bethesda game should feel like. And despite everything I've just said, I think more than anything, that last point is the most genuinely shocking thing out of my 20 hours in Morrowind so far. And I'm not sure if it was just the lofty expectations that I had going into Morrowind, or if it was just the idea that I knew beforehand that it was going to be more punishing, that I more or less expected Morrowind to be a completely different game than it actually is. After dumping 50 hours into Oblivion since the remaster came out, and then going directly into Morrowind, so much of Morrowind's DNA is in Oblivion. It's just significantly harder and much more mechanically unforgiving. And I think that is a testament to Bethesda's inherent design sensibilities. Before I continue though, I do really just need to make a quick aside. The one thing that I hold to be completely and utterly unforgivable in Morrowind is the walking speed. Even after several level ups, my run speed is hardly faster than your walk speed in Oblivion. That paired with the lack of fast traveling really makes the traversal the single worst part of the game, and in a Bethesda game, I can see how that would be a substantial turnoff for a lot of people. But I think it does, in turn, open up a world of new possibilities for a lot of players deeply familiar with the convenience of fast traveling, because the lack of it as a mechanic means that, yeah, you're going to spend a lot of time wandering around the world, but there is still so much to discover in Morrowind, and its lack of fast travel enhances every single discovery that you make in the game, because each one feels like a happy accident rather than you looking up at a compass and the game telling you that there's a cave very close by. But aside from that, I do sort of think that Morrowind is almost literally Oblivion, with just more emphasis on character building, with a lack of compass, no quest markers, no fast travel, no level scaling, and dice rolls involved in combat. In some of these aspects, the character building and the dice rolls in particular, the game feels a lot more like a traditional RPG than Bethesda's later titles, but in other regards, it is quite literally Oblivion with training wheels taken off. Whereas I would argue that Oblivion and Skyrim, and even Fallout 3 and 4 to a lesser extent, are what I would call power fantasy RPGs. In the sense that while, yeah, you still level up certain attributes and get better at those specific things, you are still fully capable of doing basically anything you want over a certain amount of time, as well as being paired with the level scaling, which makes anywhere you go difficulty appropriate, never pushing your characters too much in any single direction. Morrowind focuses much more on building a character with very specific skills and attributes. My character is a smooth-talking, lock-picking, long-blade loving lass, and only has some of the lightest dabblings of magic due to some of the items that I found in my playthrough. She will not be able to start really speccing into much other than that, unless I want to have the game run a train on me as I get further into it. But that's the thing. I am at level 9 at the time of me recording this, and the sense of progression of power that I've experienced from one level only up until now has been absolutely astounding. I went from barely being able to kill grubs on the floor to killing bandits, Dark Brotherhood members, as well as literal dinosaurs consistently and sometimes with ease. And from my perspective, as a newbie into this game, the sky is the limit as far as I can see when it comes to an eventual power level. That is something that Oblivion and Skyrim are able to do to some extent, but there is no comparison to the actual numbers increase that you will see, and more importantly, feel while playing Morrowind. And one of the biggest things that scared me from getting into this game was the lack of quest markers, knowing that this game would just tell you to go somewhere and you would have to rely on vague information to find it. And I'm here to tell you that 1, it's not that vague. 2, everything you need is in a journal that you can reference at any time, and there is a fucking glossary in it. So if you need to find any specific bit of information, odds are you have it and you can find it with 3 clicks. All of this is to say that you should not be afraid of trying Morrowind. Yes, it's harder. Yes, it's more unforgiving and more punishing. Yes, it requires more reading than any Elder Scrolls that has come after. Yes, it doesn't hold your hand, and yes, it will absolutely body you if you go into areas that you were not ready for. But god damn it, don't be intimidated. If you are patient and meet the game on its terms, you will find an experience that is untouchable. This is a Bethesda game in its arguable rawest form. Oblivion is potentially its purest form, but Morrowind is something special, and I implore you to give it a try if you have yet to traverse on a Stilt Strider.
Tomato is a vegetable but also a fruit.